Hello everyone. Moikka. Tästä tulee ihan sekopäinen juttu, koska tästä tulee jotenkin tämmönen kaksikielinen hässäkkä, mutta ne, jotka kestää sen ja tykkää siitä, niin fine, ne, jotka ei, niin voi. This is gonna be very crazy, because that's who I am. So it's 2 languages and I'll try and mix it so that it's okay to watch. If not, hey, that's how it is. I'm from Finland, from Tampere, and I have family and friends, knitting friends all across the world. So I think it wouldn't be fair if I couldn't speak in English, because then I would lose like 5 out of the 10 of my friends who would be watching this. Eli mulla on kutoja ystäviä ympäri maailman, paljon Suomessa, mutta myöskin tuolla ulkomailla ja perhettä ulkomailla, niin mähän menettäisin niistä mun potentiaalisesta 9 katsojasta niin kuin 5, jos mä en puhuisi myöskin englantia. Joten laitan tähän jatkoon, ainakin yritän, niin tekstitykset englanninkieliseen osuuteen, mutta sitten mä myöskin laitan tonne ihan loppuun suomenkielisen osuuden. Eli paljon sellaista, mitä mä saatan puhua tässä alussa, joka liittyy yleensäkin kutomiseen, niin on varmaan englanniksi, mutta sitten laitan tonne loppuun, jos mulla tulee jotain niin kuin tosi lähipiirin jotain juttuja, niin kuin nytkin olin Haiharan kartanolla, Haiharan taidekeskuksessa semmoisessa pop-upissa, niin sehän on ihan meidän paikallista juttua. Mä laitan sen tonne loppuun. Mä laitan tähän jonkun kellonajan, mistä sinne siirrytään. And that meant that to that time I'm going to be speaking mainly in Finnish. And until then, I will try and put in at least some subtitles. I know that I speak fast and I can't help it. And if I try to speak slow, then my kind of trail of thought goes away. So writing any subtitles down for either language I tried is really difficult. I can say within 5 seconds about 3 different things. So it might be better that I just speak with 2 languages at the beginning, mainly in English, and I try to put some subtitles in. Most of the Finnish people actually do understand and speak English very well. But of course, it depends what kind of line of work they've been in and if they've actually had an opportunity to learn more. So I just, want to have it with both languages. Okay, so to the knitting from this craziness of mine. Why do I want to start this YouTube channel? YouTube is my TV. I watch different people's podcasts. My favorite time is when I'm sitting down. I have a corner in the living room where I'm not right now, because that is the place where everybody's walking around and it's hectic. So I'm in my study, and my favorite time is that I sit down in my corner and I knit and I watch podcasts or sports, but mainly podcasts. And we call them podcasts. I know some people have a problem with that because they originally and mainly are for just audio. But hey, in Finland we have these groups like Finnish podcasters, knitting podcasters, or things like that. And we mean YouTube channel type of things for whatever people can watch. And there are plenty times when I'm going to my YouTube where I have subscriptions and stuff, and then there's nothing new. It's like that problem when you have nothing to wear. And sometimes I feel like I would like to respond to some of the people who have their knitting channels, something from my projects when they've worked on something and I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the patterns that they've used or comments that they make on patterns or test knits or something. I feel like, I would like to comment with a picture or even with a piece of film or something. So I thought, why not? And I've actually invited a friend of mine to do this with me, but she so far has chickened out. You know who you are. And my intent is to not have this as a solo talk, but to have someone here at least most of the time with me. So, and by the way, I forgot to put it in the microphone. Okay, I'm gonna pause this and put in the little tiny microphone, and then maybe the sound quality gets better right from there. Okay, this microphone is now in, and this is not my very first video that I'm filming, because yesterday I started with kind of getting some gear together, testing my phone. Can I use that? I'm using my old phone for this. And I made a video of how I'm gonna be making these YouTube videos. So in case you're interested, there is actually now also a video, I will post it also, that tells what apps I'm using and what gear I'm using. Hardly any, and everybody can do this with just their phone. But anyhow, I hope the mic takes care of some of the background noise, because our family is getting ready to go out for soccer tournament. So people are getting their things together, the dogs are being fed and all of that. So crazy normal family life. To the knitting. I wanted to first kind of show you what I'm wearing, because this is one of my favorites. This is Caitlin Hunter's Ghost Horses, and I made this already a long time ago. I'm glancing at my notes somewhere. I have my computer screen up there, and at that time we had this small Lankaputiikki Silmukka small yarn store in Tampere that I purchased the yarn from, and the yarn is mainly Malabrigo. So the green and the orange are both Malabrigo, and the weight of the yarn is Arroyo. So this is the Malabrigo Arroyo Sunset for the orange, and then the green was the colorway Wabi Sabi. I put all the notes into my Ravelry always. I am crazy with that because I love it. I even, every time that I purchase yarn, I quickly put it into my Ravelry. And then when I'm knitting, I pick up the yarn from my stash there. And if there's something like, if I know that there is, for example, what I used for this one and all the leftovers, I mark how much I used of each yarn for this one. And I know how much of these leftovers I have there for anything like a hat or something else. But yeah, Malabrigo for the green and for the orange. And then there was, I know what it was. It was Le Petit Parisien, no, Le Petit, this is my French, people, bear with me. Le Petit Point Parisien, and then it's Basic DK in the colorway, and that was some Rue de Rivoli, the road of the stretch in Paris. And I really like that gray yarn. I still have some of it left. Where did I put it? I have this little yarn jar where I have my leftovers of yarn always, so that I can kind of get also motivated from those. This is the yarn. I think it's beautiful. I think it's just, it has these glimpses of different colors. You can see that kind of brown hanging out from there also. So it kind of surprises you every now and then, and it has some pink and all kinds of things in there. In the original pattern, I believe Caitlin Hunter made this so that it had two colors. So it starts with, in the pattern picture, it starts with kind of light gray, and then it has another color that is kind of the colors that are then printed on it. The horses are with the gray, so they're kind of faded, and hence the ghost horses. But I wanted them to pop out. So what I did is I chose three colors, but then to make it into three colors, and with my very not so skillful designing capabilities, I, for example, made this part of the shirt really simple. And so I wanted the horses to pop out. And because I had this with orange, I also wanted to add some other orange parts there, so that it doesn't look like it's all horses and then everything else is just gray and green. And I added something to the hem. It's little hearts. They're also in the sleeves. This was one of the first colorwork sweaters that I made, and I was really, really scared of working with colors and making these images, and I would have never made it without the Finnish designer. We have this Lankapiika that I use for every time that I'm doing color work, and I love this because it is something that you can have as a guide for your yarn. I think they're called yarn guides, are they? And as you can see, it's open, so it's not a full ring, but I can always adjust it. It's silver, and sometimes, you know, in the summertime, our hands get kind of bigger, fingers are not as thin as they are in some colder temperatures. So I can always adjust it well on my finger, and it's really, really easy to knit from there. So that helped me immensely. And because this was one of my first sweaters, I didn't know about the sizes so much, but I'm happy how it fits. But what I would have made differently if I was to do this, make this again today, I would probably make it smaller from the top. So I've noticed that for me, I normally can even start with the small size neckline and then just, you know, add some stitches on the way and just kind of catch up with the large size for my breasts and boobs in this area, and then again maybe make it a bit more narrow from the waist. But yeah, I like it otherwise, but it kind of gets stretchy from here, so I notice that during the day, if I'm wearing it for the whole day, I just kind of notice that I need to every now and then pick it back up. But still, it's cool. Then about WIPs, so works in progress. I was delighted to get to be part of Anna-Johanna, a great Finnish designer, knitting designer. Her new sock release, it's coming out, and she has given us a permission. It's not a secret knit, so we can show pictures in social media. And I don't know when I have this edited, and maybe this even comes out later than the sock pattern has already come out. But the sock pattern is called Sunday Real Socks. And it has this wicked gusset. And it wasn't easy, but then it was designed in a way, I will put a picture of the sock here where you can probably see it better. But it was designed in a way that, how could I get it visible for you? That when you're working on it, you can actually know from the previous row if you're correct or not. So even though it's quite twisting, and you really need to concentrate on which row you're on and so forth, but when you're working on it, you can tell from the earlier row if you are skipping something in the pattern. Does that make sense? So I really like it. Not the easiest one, and it's from toe up. And for me, it's always difficult to realize when to start the gusset. But with Anna-Johanna's patterns, I've noticed that if I just check my gauge really well, and she tells me to start the gusset so and so many inches before I want to be having a full foot done, then I know exactly where to start it, and they fit great. So, and it's always so nice to be part of a test knit, because even with this, just the beginning of the sock and then a bit of this 3x1 pattern, there's a good thing in the pattern that kind of makes it cleaner than what I've normally done. So things to learn always from those. And for this, I chose a yarn that I've had for a long time. I made a shirt from this yarn a couple years ago, and it's so luxurious yarn, but I'm thinking that I'm going to be wearing those socks maybe in bed. So it's silk. Look at this. Merino silk, and it's a local Finnish indie dyer, Lanitium Ex Machina. And I love this yarn. It's soft. And I think it's I don't know, what do you think? 20% of silk. That will give me, it's like having other sock yarns, but it just has a luxurious way of making it sturdy, I think. Okay, then next I could talk about what else is on my needles quickly. This is Buttercup Tea, and this is by Heidi Kermeyer, and it's really clever way of starting a tea, a sweater, and I'm enjoying it so much. So I'll tell you more about this once I get it done, but it's really, this has been a joy to knit, and it's really mindless now. You start it from the top. Once you're done with the kind of the start of it, then you're done. And for that, I'm using just Hiertegarn's Blend Bamboo yarn. I don't know if you can see that. And so it's cotton, bamboo mix, something. And my lovely Amy Beth bag here. It's my treasure. I can tell about that later. And then some plans. I really want to take part in a Finnish knitting together with a Finnish podcast, so I'm going to tell about that now in Finnish. If you want to follow this up with, I will try and put some English subtitles down. Eli tästä sitten vielä siihen, että mitä aion seuraavaksi kutoa. Ihana Anoppini on jo aloittanut villapesuohjelman elokuun haasteen, eli villapesuteen. Ja mun tekee kauheasti mieli aloittaa sitä, mutta mulla olisi pari semmoista, mitä pitäisi lahjaksikin kutoa yhtä aikaa tässä nyt. Mutta kyllä mä tämän saan nyt puikoille mahdollisimman pian. Ja mä ajattelin tehdä semmoisen, että mä ottaisinkin tämmöistä mohairlankaa, tiettekö? Niin, että siinä olisi semmoinen vähän löysempi kudos. Ja tässä on vähän tämmönen vaihteleva väri. Erottuuko se siihen? Mutta tekisinkin tästä sen. Ja se olisi semmonen, heitetään vain jonkun mekon päälle. Mutta katsotaan. Nyt mä luulen, tuossa joku kävi jo oven välissä, meidän tarvii lähteä jalkapalloturnaukseen. Mutta mä yritän editoida tätä siellä jalkapalloturnauksessa. Ja jos saan tän ulos ja saan, niin tästä tulee todennäköisesti semmoinen lyhyt jakso. Ja sit mä näen, että miten mä voisin tehdä jotain asioita toisin. Ja sit mä voisin ehkä vähän rauhoittua ja kertoa eri tavalla asioista seuraavassa jaksossa. Mutta olisi kiva saada ehkä jopa 2 katsojaa, että jos siellä on hän, jota olen pyytänyt seuraksi linjoilla, laitapa viesti, mitä tehdään, jatketaanko yhdessä. Ja sitten muille, niin kiva, jos löysit tänne ja jaksoit katsoa tänne asti. Tavataan seuraavissa ohjelmissa ja katson mielelläni teidän podcasteja kanssa. Moikka moikka!